That's so interesting. I feel like I've never met somebody who's seen it and like didn't like it. Like I've never heard that opinion of like it's not worth
I
watching,
have.
it's trash. So that's interesting.
A lot of people who watch it as adults are like, it's overrated. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
like,
that a
yeah,
lot
it's a little
too.
bit it like is magical if you grew up watching it and it's like there's a little bit of nostalgia. But I feel like going in as an adult and watching it, it's like I don't know, it really does have its own special power. I've shown it to a couple different people and they're like, it's like the epitome of a fairy tale, but it's a standalone thing. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that I've shown,
Well,
and I guess it's just because I hang around the right people, but the
It's
people
just
I've
you're
shown it to
picking the
have
right
liked
people.
it. Yeah.
I guess the reason I haven't watched that one yet is because the last Mormon who recommended me a movie recommended me the Seven Brides for Seven Brothers or whatever, which
Uh-huh.
I thought was very interesting. I'll say interesting. I was like, if it's anything like that,
You don't like Stockholm Syndrome, the movie?
Yeah.
To the power of seven?
Okay. The thing is, these two, they have mm, just checking nothing in common. You'd be fine. They
that's
gave
good
you
to know
one
because
bad
the same person
recommendation,
recommended me.
but the Princess Bride was actually a good recommendation, showing that they have at least some taste.
Just because I was like, if you genuinely enjoy that movie, I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
people are entitled to their opinions, but I just
Yeah.
thought it was really weird.
It's odd. Yeah.
Side eye.
There's like one song from that that's like kind of catchy and I get it in my head sometimes, but it's not enough that I'm like, oh, I love that show. It's just like I've seen it and I know one of the songs from it.
And
Well, I
I feel
know a
like
couple of the songs from
especially
it, but I like one of the songs from it.
I feel
See,
like
I feel like
especially
I
being
blocked
like
it out.
LDS. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I feel
Just
like I blocked most of that movie out because, but I don't remember really almost anything about that movie.
probably
But I
good.
remember that I was like, I don't jive with it.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
Which is fair. Like it is it's weird. It's like,
It's a
why'd you do
weird
that?
premise. I remember
Like
it came
if it
on the
was just
TV
like
once.
if it was like a 7-part rom-com, like they all just happen to find a bride through whatever
Yeah.
normal life, that would be whatever. But if it's like we're going to kidnap 6 women, that's weird.
I feel like it was one of
Even
those
Beauty and the
movies
Beast.
that was like
People
Beauty and the
people
Beast.
talk
What?
about Beauty and the Beast. People talk about that one being Stockholm Syndrome, the movie, when it's not. And I have a lot of issues with that statement. But like,
Yeah.
she chose to be there. Maybe
Yeah.
the circumstances
Yeah.
were great, but like, she walked into that castle and she's like, "I'm staying. Actually, you can't get
Yeah.
rid of me.
Well, and the thing
They
was too is
took
like
those
the
women."
whole point of that movie is how you can change yourself for the better through, loving somebody else who even if like at first glance or on paper you didn't think that you would belong with them.
Hmm.
So that's a different message from like, hey, if you kidnap somebody and then there's an avalanche, so she has to stay at your house, eventually she'll fall in love with you.
Maybe she should have killed you and escaped, or eaten you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Triniece, you want to talk about a movie that involves cannibalism and blizzards?
No. Already
I'm
no.
sorry, I'm crying right now. I can't. Wait, what?
You can't keep doing this.
Sorry. I'm obsessed with a really bad movie and it won't leave me alone. I keep talking about it and it's a disease and I need to stop.
Yeah.
What movie?
It's called Ravenous.
Ravenous.
Um, and
I've heard of
it's
it. I haven't
something
watched it.
You've heard of
you've
it?
heard of
She's heard
it?
of it. She's heard of it. She's
Well,
heard of it. She hasn't seen
only
Star Wars, but
because
she's heard of Ravenous.
I'm taking a media self and society class, and that was mentioned. in that class.
He talks about Ravenous in that
They
class?
talk about Ravenous in a BYU class?
Well, no,
Do
a
they show
different student
it?
had brought it up during our discussion. So he didn't bring it up, but a
Oh,
different student had. I don't know what it's
interesting. Because I was
about.
like, Dr. Ellison does not know that movie. Which student was this?
A 20-year-old
It
knows this
was,
movie?
I don't know how old he was, but he had a bunch of tattoos and he seemed like he was, based on some of the things he said, I don't think he's grown up Mormon. So
Mhm.
what
That
is
makes a
this
lot of
movie
sense because
about?
this is not a family-friendly movie. This is not like a we watch it on
Is it
VidAngel
like a
movie.
horror movie?
If you watch it on VidAngel,
Yeah.
there would be 5 minutes
Oh,
of movie.
yeah.
Is
It's
is it like
pretty
Yeah,
gory and
yeah,
yeah. It's like it's not scary. It's got this vibe of like dark humor, satire.
yeah.
It's
But
very gory.
it is bloody. Yeah, it's quite bloody. It's the
There's a
one
lot like the yeah.
when we were talking about the Donner Party treaties in class the other day, this is what I was thinking of, but I was like, I simply will not mention it.
Good move. It's actually based on the Donner Party and
Yeah.
one other guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
why
it's
did
about
I think
cannibals and
that
being gay.
Yeah.
okay,
And Robert Carlyle's in it. And
interesting.
if you don't know who he is, that's okay. I just happen to be obsessed with him already. If you've seen Once Upon a Time, he played Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's
this
in
is
it.
him when he's young. They show his bare butt only for a second, and then the rest of the movie
End of
is
sentence.
just like ripping into bodies. Just blood and viscera everywhere. And heavy homoerotic undertones. And that's like the whole movie. That's it.
That's pretty much
That and
the whole
like
movie.
a commentary on Westward consumerism, like that whole
There's a whole
mindset.
thing. She wrote
It's
a term paper on it. But
yeah, whole semester.
I'm so like I'm still recovering from the shock of thinking that Dr. Elison was the one who brought up Ravenous in class. And now that I know that it was a student, I'm like, okay, this makes more sense, but I still like I'm trying to think of who it was. Like,
I won't say
What
his
color
last
hair does
name
he
for
have?
privacy. It's either black or dark brown. I haven't looked at him too hard.
But it's definitely not blonde, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no.
I've
Does he
known
have
people
long
named
hair?
Sebastian, but not that one.
Huh? He doesn't have long hair. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
It can grow
Okay.
out. It's okay.
Does he have a beard?
So, okay, circling back to
Yep.
Robert Carlyle.
Yeah.
I'm so used to seeing this man look really crusty and gross. So when I looked up a picture of him when he was younger, I was like, oh wow, he's not crusty.
Oh no, he's not crusty.
I mean, like,
Oh,
yeah, obviously it was just his role, but like sometimes you like just associate like that image with that person, especially if that's the
Yeah.
first movie you've ever seen them in, or like a TV
yeah,
show. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah,
he's
and
a regular
no one
human.
likes him crusty. That would be
All
weird.
green and sparkly and crusty.
With
Yeah.
scales? Ew.
I wonder if they got their inspiration from like Twilight because he's kind of sparkly.
He's very
sparkly.
shiny.
He is actually very quite sparkly.
Yeah, it works.
So, okay,
And what, like,
another like
so many tight leather pants. Why'd they do? Did you know they cut his hair too? Like in the last season of the show, that was like his
I
main
didn't get.
personality trait.
So I have to tell you, I have this really bad tendency of starting really long series, and I love really long series, but sometimes I don't finish them.
Do the same thing.
That. I think
I
it's
do
our
the
chip.
same. It's the
Yeah.
chip. We've been
It's from the
sick this
jab.
whole time and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've never finished Once Upon a Time. Partly because I knew they cut his hair.
You're like, oh,
They massacred my
unwatchable.
boy. Yeah. I'm literally only in it for the morally gray older villains who they make look so crusty and gross. That's why I watch anything.
Mm. Mm.
But yeah. No, he's fine when he's young. Like fine. I mean, not like he's okay. Which is funny because like I know honestly, that's probably how most people see him. Is like, yeah, he's okay.
I feel like it
Again,
depends on the angle and the
But he's
photo. Like,
beautiful to you.
yeah, he's my special little princess. I should get a boyfriend.
You can channel some of this energy, I think, in a more productive
well,
place.
but here's the thing: they never live up to like book boyfriends or TV boyfriends. It's
Or like your friends' husbands who treat them so nice.
Hmm.
Like my roommate, the story of how her boyfriend proposed to her is like the most insane, perfect thing I've ever heard. And like she told me the story. It's like super intense and like really elaborate and involves 15 different people in the setup of it. But the actual execution was just them two in their favorite spot where they went on their
Hmm.
second date. So it was like really thoughtful, really well executed, like very well planned. And she started off telling me the story. She's like, now don't let this get your expectations too high. Like, I don't want this to ruin your idea of men. Because Porter's just so perfect. And I'm like, too late. Okay, Mallory, my expectations are already through the roof. Maybe that's my problem. But like, why shouldn't they be? Why shouldn't that be the expectation of like what a
Yeah.
man is capable of?
Yeah, like I do expect him to remember things about me and care. Like,
yeah, it's the
yeah.
bare minimum. That's it.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, real life men, especially the men I'm around now. I'm like, I work with you, and it's hard for me to keep myself from sprinting as fast as I possibly can in the opposite direction. No, real life men are have been a disappointment in my experience. Keep the future open to possibilities.
It's
Hmm.
like, are we looking in the wrong place or what's going on?
Yeah, I know I am. I'm in a conservative Senate office. I don't belong here.
And they're all interns anyway, so they're like 19, 20 years
They're
old.
so young. They're
Way
so
too
young.
young.
Yeah.
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 And they're all like, I don't know. One of them was like, I really love cigars. I love the taste of cigars. And like, there's just nothing that, yeah, So I'm like, already interesting. Um, and then the other one, he just turned 20, and he's like, I'm just kind of sick of like the drinking life. Like, I'm sick of like the college partying life where you go out and get blasted. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're
But
like
he's not
moving
even
past
of
that because that's
age
not
and he's
healthy. But I'm like,
tired.
literally, why? How old are you? You just turned 20?
Not even
Interesting. And
21.
people at
Yeah.
work will go out with him and buy him drinks and stuff. I'm like, y'all, that
Huh.
is illegal.
Yeah, but it's
And
okay
these
if you work at the government.
Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot about that loophole.
Yeah, things are only
yeah.
illegal if you don't work for the government. If you're just
So I need to get
regular.
a government job. Actually, there's nothing illegal that I really want to do.
Yeah. But you'd at least have the option.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
illegal that you want to do yet.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself.
Hmm.
Keep the
Pirating movies is
possibilities
illegal.
open.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Pirating movies is illegal. If you don't want to pay for subscription services, you could always pirate movies. Who said that?
I don't know.
Not me. I
I
would
think
never
I heard, is
condone
that,
that.
sorry, was there, I don't know if I
Yeah.
quite caught that. It almost sounded like somebody said you could pirate movies if you don't want to pay for a subscription service, but that couldn't be it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. What are
Yeah,
what?
their pirates are made up. They're
Mm.
from the movies. They're not real. When you say pirating movies, you mean like Jack
Oh.
Sparrow,
Yeah, like the what do they say?
Treasure
Walk the
Planet,
plank?
maybe.
Yeah.
Movies about
Captain Hook.
pirates.
Okay,
Yeah.
speaking of,
Dilf.
to be honest, Captain Hook from Once Upon a Time, like that,
That's not even a hear
Like,
me out moment. That's
that,
that's
yeah.
what
that
people think that you say, like think that you mean when you say there's like a lot of really attractive guys on that show. That's the thing people go to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have to explain yourself. And then your coworker turns to you and says with serious concern in their eyes, you need to talk to somebody about that. Because you're not talking about
Okay,
him, you're talking about Crocodile Man.
so
That didn't happen to me. I'm just saying hypothetically, maybe that would
Yeah,
happen
who
to
said that?
somebody.
so Rumpelstiltskin, he's your guy. Well, the actor. So are you choosing
Yeah.
him or Captain Hook?
Mm.
That's literally not even a question to me. It's like Rumpelstiltskin. I'm not proud of that, but like I don't have to
But it
think
is what
about it.
it is. So we can't change it.
Wait,
Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin or the actor?
We love who we love.
See, now
Both?
that's a good question. Because the actor's very Scottish, and I cannot understand him. And that's kind of
Hmm.
fun.
I didn't know he was
Probably
Scottish.
Rumpelstiltskin again, though.
Okay. So, okay.
Because the regular actor, he's Scottish, but he doesn't have glittery leather skin.
And he
And
seems like
that's
a
what
very
you're.
nice person.
So when you say that men aren't living up to your expectations, that's what you're looking for.
I want them to be vile.
Okay, I'll be on
I
the
want them
lookout
to
for
be
anyone
like,
like.
I could fix
Who,
him, but like, girl, really? That kind of vibe.
are you sure you're up
Mhm.
for that kind of task, kind of thing?
No, I know I'm not. And that's also part of the problem is I know I couldn't fix him. I know he'll make me worse, and we're just gonna have to deal with that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
instead of growing together, you're gonna. What would the
Mutually
opposite be?
destruct.
Yeah, whatever the opposite is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mold.
I mean, there you go.
DK. Like in reality, I know I need a Samwise Gamgee. I like that's the
A
perfect
what?
man. A Samwise Gamgee. Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
No, because I walked in on my parents watching it and there was this spider scene, and I really hate spiders. And after that, I was like, I
Mm,
will never watch Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
So,
that would be
He's
a
pretty
scary
freaky.
scene to be the first. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of
If it
scary.
makes you feel
I mean,
better,
I've watched
there's about
Harry
12
Potter
hours of
too, but
movie. Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
always
there's
close
some
my. I know
freaky
when
stuff in
that's
there.
coming up. I close my eyes when that. I'm like, all right, I know the spiders are coming, and I'm like, snack break for me, because we watch it every year as a family. But
Smart,
I
yeah.
don't know when the spider scene is for Lord of the Rings because I've never watched it, so I just can't give myself a heart attack like that.
So I will say it's only in one movie, and the movies are combined about 12 hours long. So it's a very short part in the last movie, and if you watched it with the supervisor, they could escort you past it because it is a very freaky scene. But it's like
Hmm.
very small part of the story. I think
What
It's
you
if
could
the
true.
work around
supervisor
it
like
because I
isn't thinking about it? What if they forget?
Then they need to be fired. You need a better
yeah
supervisor.
And I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah
that's their job. Um, yeah, and if it also makes you feel better, it is a very brief moment, and it's like a happy ending.
yeah.
So it's okay. You like don't even have to be scared because it all works out.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if that's even the scariest scene. It probably is.
I
For
think it
me, if it
probably
has a
is.
spider in it, it's gonna be the scariest, regardless of whatever else is
Yeah.
happening in the movie.
Hmm.
Everything
Well, then, yeah,
else
it's the
is
scariest.
so aggressively hopeful and kind and warm. It's
Yeah.
one of the warmest movies. It's got like have you watched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Mhm. No spiders in
Like
that one.
that? Yeah. Very similar vibes of like good. So I
Okay.
recommend them. I think that you would I think I love them. I have seen them a lot and they're very good and they make me cry every time because they're really good.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yep, we've
Yeah.
already given you a lot of homework assignments in this one.
Yeah. Like you have to watch the Star
Because it's
Wars movies
like
in this order. Skip that one. Like,
I
yeah.
want to watch it for the plot, but I know it's crazy. I'm as old as I am, and I am terrified of spiders. But
That's normal.
I think it's perfectly rational. That's like we were saying earlier, how humans have developed in a lot of ways. That's something that like you needed ancestrally to not get killed. So now it's still just a
Choked
part
to
of you,
death.
You're like, I'm not gonna get killed to death.
Mm-mm.
also,
I'm wary of spiders, you know?
we can't talk about them too much because my phone is always listening to what I'm saying. So next thing
Oh
I
no.
know, it's gonna
We
pop up
can't
in
get
my
Instagram
feed.
ads for Vampire Diaries and spiders.
Yeah, pick one.
No.
Well, it was Vampire Diaries and Twilight for a hot minute.
Mm, because of
Nice.
the
And I keep
vampire thing.
seeing like I saw these really cool drinks like the Skin of a Killer mocktail.
Was it sparkly?
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Edible
And
glitter?
it was red and sparkly, and I was like, I don't know why it was red. Well, I mean, I guess for the blood, but like, I was like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, Whitney's gonna
That's
look
sick.
something up really quick. Looks like you're like,
Unrelated.
um,
But like, so I watch Twilight more as a comedy than like
The right way to watch it.
I can't really take it
yeah,
seriously. It's a
no,
comedy,
it's
dude.
a bit
It
too
just
ridiculous.
It's a very silly story.
like there's just so many scenes where I'm either cringing, crying, laughing, doing
Hold
all
on tight,
three.
spider monkey.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like, what
He
is that
improvised
scene?
that.
What what does that even mean? Like, why is he calling?
yeah, like that's not a pet name. Nobody calls like you would be like,
They're
hey babe, what do you think about Spider Monkey? As like a cute little it could be what we call each other. No.
And like the way
funny.
that she didn't like I would have like gave him like the biggest side eye. Like if somebody said that to me, like, excuse me.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm not attracted to you anymore. Put me down.
And I was just as I was rewatching it earlier this year, I was just like, wow, their relationship is just so like
It's only
It's
red
so
flags.
bad.
toxic.
It's quite
And the
toxic.
way that
Yeah.
like
It's sludge.
This
and
is
the way he
delight.
stalks her. Like he in the first movie, like it's basically just him stalking her. And like
And her being like,
watching her while she sleeps and
Oh no.
like
I would
like
hate if
how do
somebody were to
you
stalk me right now. Like, get a grip.
girl, you're 17.
and then like he leaves and I don't even know.
And then she
Like, go
spirals. And then they get married.
right.
Mhm.
And then they have sex. And he's like, I'm never going to do that to you again. And she's like, why? Why not?
Yeah,
And
like
that's weird. That's
That's
weird.
weird. It's super weird.
and
And
it's
then
like
also how they speed run
yeah.
pregnancy
And
any percent, like, and she within a week has the baby because it's eating her from the inside.
yeah.
Huh?
Weird.
Yeah.
Girl,
And then,
huh?
not even to touch on, you nicknamed my daughter after the Loch
The
Ness
Loch
Monster.
Ness Monster!
Line of all time. That's real. But like, Stephanie
That
Meyer,
really happened.
bestie. I see, like, if someone talks about Twilight, inevitably someone in the comments is going to be like, yeah, it's because the author's Mormon and they believe
Yeah.
all this
And
stuff.
it's
And
like,
it's like,
listen,
no, we
she's
don't.
she was Mormon, that's true. But she didn't write this because like she wrote this in spite of being Mormon, I think. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Just like
No.
when you watch it and you're like and then later on you find out, oh, she's Mormon? I wouldn't have gathered
Yeah,
that
like
from
it's
this movie.
surprising.
Hmm.
Yes.
And like, she's active. Like, she's
Oh, I
still,
didn't know that.
like, and that's like, yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like, girl,
Weird, right? Can you imagine going to like the same congregation? That would be
Stephanie
so
Meyer.
freaky.
I would look at her and the only thing I would be able to think is the skin of a killer. Like that's what I think of when
Skin
I
of a
think of
killer, Bella.
Twilight, the skin of a or like
I
he's
always
like
think of Bella, where the hell you been, Loca?
Been
I love that
Loca.
one.
That was also
The
one of the
Twilight
gifts
movies,
too.
Bella, the Twilight movies are exactly the same as the Kardashians. Like they're toxic and it's bad,
Mhm.
but the
But
impact
you
on
can't look
pop culture
away.
has it cannot be understated.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I
so
think I'm
true.
gonna watch the Twilight movies again tonight.
Oh my gosh.
And
Funny.
Oh
Funny.
and
man.
like
Really
also
good.
the
Really
first
good stuff.
interaction that Edward has with Bella, where it's like he's disgusted. Well, not disgusted, but it
He's
seems
like,
like he's disgusted by her presence, and he's like, "I'm gonna throw up." I would
Mom,
have
can you come
been
pick me
like,
up? I'm gonna throw up.
the way he has to be
It's
transferred
so
out of
weird.
that
It's like,
class.
and why would like that would never happen? And also, why is she like a little bit intrigued by it? You know what I mean? Like if I walked into a room and a guy was like about to barf, I wouldn't be like, and what was your name again? You know what I mean? Like she's like, they have no reason to be into each other at all.
Like I don't understand it. Like, and also, okay, so I realized that the older I've gotten, the more I've come to the realization that, in a way, like vampires are kind of like pedophiles because, like, he's 100 and
always how it
whatever,
goes.
Hmm.
and
Seventeen.
And
she's
she's
17. And
17.
I don't care. I don't care. Like they say, like, oh, he's frozen in time because he's 17. Like you still like that logic. It
Yeah, because
It's
I
doesn't
feel
ring
like
around
your
in
life
my head.
age
experience.
is more about experience than it is your
Like,
physical age, right? So he appears 17, but why not just go to like college? You know what I mean? And
like
then people there might still be
exactly.
young, but they're adults.
And also,
This
like,
is
how are you
why
100 and some years old and like attracted to some like teenager? I don't get it. Teenage,
Exactly.
this
also,
is
like in
why
general, teenagers are the least appealing people. I feel
On
like
the
they're
planet.
just
That's
correct
true.
yes,
and true. Yeah.
yes.
That's what we do in the shadows, where he's like constantly talking about his love that he had 50 years ago, and he's like, "Man, I really miss her," and he's like pining for her the whole time. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, "I turned her," and it's like this young 20-year-old guy, Taika Waititi, with super ancient old lady, and she's like, "I'm a vampire now," and he's like, "People are gonna be weirded out by the age difference because I'm so old and she's so much younger than me, but like, we're in love. That's correct. That's
Hmm.
funny."
It's funny.
And yeah, it's
I
like, yeah,
haven't watched
she's
that
been
one.
along for how long? That's good. It's a good movie. It's like a mockumentary style of like
You said
New
it's
Zealand
called what?
vampires. What We Do in the Shadows.
What we do in the shadows. It sounds familiar.
They have
Hmm.
a show.
I don't think
They've
I've
made they yeah,
probably
they
been
they've made a
recommended it,
show
but
recently, but you can just
okay,
watch the movie and you'll get the vibe. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Um,
Also, I
I
will
used
say
to be
this.
very.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Buffy the Vampire Slayer has a lot of issues on its own, and
What
that's
does?
fine. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I grew up watching that show.
I love
mhm.
it.
That's a good show.
Spike waited to be attracted to Buffy until she was in college. And that's I can say that.
Like basic decency, you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
then
Basic.
and
He's
like
like
Angel,
creepy
I'm
villain.
like,
Angel
Yeah.
like
But
is my
even though he's the
enemy.
creepy, even though Spike is the creepy villain, even the creepy villain has the decency to not be like, oh wait, she's actually hot until she's an adult, right? And then he's like, oh wait, she's actually
and
hot, but it
also
never before that. Yeah.
didn't he have
Angel's
sex with
freaky.
her before she was even while she was still in high school? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because he's a creep. He's like he is the template for like Edward, like the sullen, broody type, because he
Hmm.
constantly lies to Buffy. He's like keeping secrets from her about everything. He's like, yeah, no, I knew about this thing after the dangerous thing happened. And she's like, man, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I was trying to protect you. And it's like, don't you see, Angel, how you could have protected her by preparing her, by letting her
Hmm.
prepare herself because of how she's the Slayer? She literally,
Right.
like, this is her
See,
job.
Yeah.
Boo,
I just
Angel.
wanted to protect you from knowing anything that I don't want you to know about.
right.
This is why like the whole like Spike and because like they see each other as equals, right? But that's the
Hmm.
problem with Angel is he's always gonna see Buffy as like less than, as a
Hmm.
high schooler, as a kid, because of
Right.
how
A
that's how old she was when
teenager
they
who
met
needs to be
and dated.
protected. Yeah,
Yeah,
freaky.
Spike is like,
And
no,
I
she could kill me.
and at least
And
like
like, damn, it's
okay,
kind of
I know like Spike was kind of like crappy in the beginning, but he had some serious character development. I feel like
True.
oh,
Angel didn't.
true.
Facts.
Yes, so true.
Like,
Spike at his worst is still somehow better than Angel at his best. Like
but
Yeah.
I
Angel
feel
with
like
a
Angel
soul.
was so he was so whiny. I'm sorry, but he was whiny.
Yes,
True.
girl. Yes. That's his worst sin. Like worse than being like kind of a dick and a little bit of a creep. You're dull. You bore me. Where's the guy with the
Yes.
like peroxide head? Bring him back with the like floor length leather duster.
Yeah, he knows how to
Yeah,
dress.
that was a look.
Let's at least
He
Yeah.
say that.
paints his fingernails.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He
He's
has
he,
style. He has a personality.
And
mm-hmm,
he always
mm-hmm.
told it as it was. He always yeah.
Hmm.
So true. He was like the
Exactly.
most. I love the transition from Cordelia in the first couple seasons, as in the role of like bitchy frenemy to Spike taking over that role, and he's like, I hate you all, but like you need to you need to solve your issues, and here's how to do it. Like he sees everything.
Yeah.
Did you
He's
guys
so
watch the
smart.
spinoff? Like, did you guys
Angel?
watch Angel?
No, because it has Angel in it.
But like also, if we're looking at like Cordelia, her character development in both Buffy and Angel was
Hmm.
really good.
And
I do like
the first
Cordelia.
time I watched the show, I hated her. I'm like, she's so mean. And now looking,
Me
and this
too,
happens
yeah.
to me a lot, right? Where like, I rewatch a show or a movie that I loved as a kid, and I'm like, I had it backwards because like Cordelia is my favorite character. She is
Yeah.
so funny, and yet she develops a lot, and she's like, she stirs things up when they need to be stirred up. I love
Hmm.
her so much.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
such
Yeah.
that scripture, like, when I was a child, I saw as a child, I understood as a child, right? Like now that you have an adult's perspective, you can be like, oh, actually, Cordelia is kind of based. Sorry, girl, I didn't mean it. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for the fact that she dated Xander, and like I Xander just had Joss Whedon as a writer.
yeah,
He could
he
have been
had
more.
he had a lot of potential, and he
Yeah,
had moments that you're like, oh, this guy's really sweet. Like, I like him. Yeah. So you just have to,
yeah,
it's like
Yeah.
instead of separating the art from, no, it is separating the art from the artist, but like in the opposite way, where you're like, if this character had a different writer, I would love him.
yeah.
Mhm.
He's just like
Yeah.
I would say 75% of Xander. He's like he's funny and he's kind of like he's the normal guy of the group, but
Hmm.
he's so
But
pick me
there's
and he's so entitled, and he's like
yes.
half the time he says stuff that's like you should have been shot and killed for that. And Buffy and Willow just kind of like roll their eyes and like, oh, Xander, and it's like you were written by Joss Whedon. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
And
tell.
it shows.
It
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
And like if
Yeah.
Buffy and Willow, this is why season 6 is like peak Buffy, because he wasn't there anymore. He
What
left.
was the what was the plot in season 6? Remind me.
Buffy
What
comes
was that?
back from the dead wrong.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, super depresso mode. Very
That was a pretty
controversial.
crazy episode.
Crazy season. It has some of the best ones though, because it has the musical episode, and that is
Oh
always
yeah.
fun.
My sister loved it, and I hate it because she would watch it on repeat.
Valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
The other episode that so she owned season 4, and at the time that was the only season she had.
Oh.
And so she would keep playing it over and over and over. And basically what I remember from that is Riley was a jerk,
Don't even get
and
me started about Riley, okay? Like,
and then there's that Hush
however much I
episode
hate
that was
Angel,
really yeah, and his mom was something else. Like
whose mom?
Riley's mom.
I don't even remember his
No,
mom.
wait, no,
You
maybe
blocked her out.
I was thinking, is that his mom? I thought it was his mom,
Oh,
or
the
is
lady
that
from
just
the
Maybe it's not
Um,
his mom.
he's her TA, the
Oh, I
professor,
don't know why I thought they were
because they're both blonde and
Related.
because
evil.
Mm, that'll do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
He genuinely might be the reason why I have such a hate for blonde men, like naturally blonde men. Spike is different. He dyes it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He's having fun
It's
with
like
it.
yeah.
edgy. He is like the Billy Joel of, you know, Riley is a blonde man through and through. And I mean that as an insult and a slur. Riley character can rot and die. However much I wrote about Ravenous, I could write an entire thesis about how much I hate Riley in this show. I
Mhm.
actually like,
I
yeah.
I I'm kind of interested to read your thesis about Ravenous. Maybe should I watch the movie before? Well,
You,
I don't know if I
well,
would want to
I
watch
feel
the
like
movie.
maybe you should read the paper first.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of explained the plot in the paper
because I didn't
anyway.
have that option. I
Okay.
just had to watch the movie and then read the paper in installments,
Mm.
like old-timey style, Sherlock Holmes style.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I think it's worth reading, and then you can kind of understand Whitney's mentality, but you don't have to just jump right into all the blood and guts.
And it's a weird movie on its own too. Like
Yeah, it's odd.
aside from the blood and gore, it's kind of slow and the music is super weird. So it's a movie unlike any I've ever seen. And I think that's why I like it so much is because it's like I've never met you before. This is super fun. And all the reasons why I like it are also the reasons why most people super hated it.
It didn't do well
So
How old is the
when
movie?
it was released. Mm,
1999. I can just brief disclaimer. So I spent an entire semester writing this paper, except for the first um, grade I got back. I got a 3 out of 50, and I never got to defend. It was an incorrect thing, and my professor did me wrong. And I literally wake up and I think about it every single day. And it's the last thing I think about before I go to sleep at night. Still, and I graduated. It doesn't matter, but still, this is the only thing that I focus on: the deep injustice of this bad grade. But from that point on, I was like, well, I'm not even going to try anymore. I was really excited to write this paper about this thing I care about, but now I'm like, I don't even care. So, disclaimer: I spent a semester working up the ideas for it, and then by the end, I hated my teacher, and so I wrote it really, really long, so she'd have to read through all of it as kind of a punishment for her. So the paper itself is not great. And I just want you to be aware of that going into it so you don't think
A
less of
three out
me.
of 50? Like, why?
it's a great
I think
question, and we've looked through the rubric countless times trying to figure out how it could possibly be that low of a score.
Did this teacher just have like beef with you or something?
the
She does
thing is,
now.
she certainly does now. Like I, the worst thing is Traniece is like I I had worked hard on this and like I knew it wasn't perfect and I turned it in a little late, so I got the late penalty and that would have been fine. Like I would have taken that. But even without the late penalty, she gave me like it was like I think it was an 18 out of 50. So it was still
Yeah,
like failing.
it's like still bad.
Yeah. But I truly don't know because I also tried to meet with her many times over the course of the semester to argue with her about this. And she either
Which
rescheduled or
class was this
canceled
for?
pop culture and media, an elective
Pop
class, not a
culture.
core class, one that we take for fun.
Hmm.
Huh.
So it shouldn't be
Yeah.
like stressing you out and get you thinking, what if I didn't graduate because of this class? Like it's not supposed to be that way, but it ended up being that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
like to this day, I asked literally every single person that I know, and this is all I talked about for several months. And I was already talking about the movie nonstop, and that's insufferable. People in my life hated me because it's a bad thing to keep hearing about. And I just couldn't stop. But then this happened, and so I extra couldn't stop, and it was just a spiral, and it was really bad. But I had everybody read my papers multiple times. I went to the writing center. I went to different professors. Like I submitted it online. I said, "Is there anything wrong with this?" And every single time they're like, "It's pretty good," and It sounds like an interesting movie. I'd say, yes, don't watch it because, like, you're seeing it through my eyes. And, like,
Rose-colored glasses and whatnot.
yeah, but yeah, no, that's a whole thing.
I feel like to really give this Josh character, not character, person,
He is a
He's
character.
real life. Yeah.
like to really
Be
understand
kind.
his perspective, maybe we should try this. This is just my excuse for like validating going out and getting ice cream. I'll get like one M&M and M and then one gummy, put them together, but then the rest will be normal.
That sounds fun. If you guys do that, will you FaceTime me?
We should do should do you have a froyo place that's not like in your job at your job?
Um, Nowhere near where I live, but I mean the froyo place. I could go to the froyo place on my lunch break.
I mean, as long as you like it.
I don't mind it. Yeah, it's good
I'll,
froyo.
I'll do froyo together and FaceTime. Or
Yeah.
That
yeah.
sounds
Like one of those
fun.
like DoorDash dates, those where like people in long distance relationships will like DoorDash from the same restaurant and FaceTime each other while they
Oh,
eat.
I haven't heard of that, but
that's
that sounds pretty
cute.
cool.
Yeah, and that's gonna be us.
Yeah.
Yay.